Y'all, today I gotta go. I got a doctor's appointment. But I want to talk to you guys about something that is so dear to me. You know, I read y'all comments. I know you say, Samantha, no, you don't. Yes, I do. I read all your comments. I sit there and I take my time and I read because we are at despair. I hear your voices. I hear a lot of people scared. I hear a lot of people are angry. I hear a lot of people that are, we have so many emotions. They unsure. I hear things that we are concerned about because in our lifetime, we have never experienced this. We have never experienced this. Now, of course, we have had politicians come and go in our century, and they promise us stuff and they don't deliver. But it affected us, but not as a country. Not as a country. And, it was something that I had just said in the car with the man, and then I heard Eddie Griffin say it. He said, if you notice, all the states that highly voted for Trump are being flooded. That's something to think about. That is something to really grasp. That we're dealing with. We have no FEMA, and yet we are grasping for, we're going through so much. We are going through so much. Oh, it makes it, some of us it's hard for us to get out the bed. It's like we know the boogeyman is here, but we're in the dark and we can't find it. And then we have those who still believe that things are going to get better, even though we haven't seen not one case that it has. We have folks that are taunting. And then, I'm going to say this. You have some folks that, I noticed this. I was, on my feed and we got a fighter. We got fighters. And then this black man came on and started talking about how bad Gavin Newsom it did and all this stuff he did and stuff. Whatever it was. But I'm going to say this. We're going to get a little personal. See, you said, Samantha, you talk about candidates too. I sure do. I do. I'm not going to lie. But you know what? Before I start talking about a candidate, I do my homework. Most of the candidates and people in Memphis, I know. So when I start talking about them, I know. Most of the people, like right now, when it's one of those days I can't really explain. But we're at a despair right now. And if we're looking for that hero, that imperfect hero, that one that got the chest, see, that's what everybody voted for. They voted for that hero. They voted for that one man that had so many flaws, but he put an S on his chest. I remember one time I wrote President Obama and I wrote President Biden, and I was fanning out my frustration. And I got a letter. Well, I don't know if he read it or not, but I got a letter. But we have a president now that has no compassion, has no empathy. And then we see the other ones that are following along with them. I live in a red state. I got a senator that's running for governor that talks about hurting people. And we not normal, because the American that I knew had compassion. And it's like I'm living in a dream. I cannot wake up. I don't know how to wake up. We have folks that are dealing with depression and then finding out that the government has no compassion for us, has no empathy for us, our children. This is where many of us are angry. We're angry because we tried to prevent this and we didn't. And then we're telling them that, hey, we can fix this, and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. You have to ask for what, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it again, and this is my belief. May not agree, but this is my agree. These plants gonna kill me. I believe Kamala Harris was elected president. I believe she was ordained to be president. But I'm going to tell you, I believe in a higher power. I believe that a higher power fixed it. I don't believe it was Trump. And it's what is meant to happen is to break us, which is doing it. See, it's not like racism never existed in America. It's been hidden. And for the first time in history of America, in our history, that you can be racist right now. Yeah, you can be racist right now. But see, because back in the day, it was okay and nothing was done about it. Then laws came into play and people had to be politically correct. But we had a president that sat and said, you know what, I'm racist and it's okay. And it's hard for us to stomach sometimes that, I understand how a person that's white going along with it. But then it hurts your heart to see your own kind running along with it. Even this day and age. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to see so many people that actually hate themselves. Not just you, but they hate themselves. It's hard to believe that folks voted for their own, or they chose for their own demise. But see, I'm a firm believer that you can't make a person a God. See, my God, he's a jealous God. He don't like that. And when you start putting on there, even if you're mocking him, Trump is God and all of that, and he's a savior, and he come to save the country, and he's a they didn't took on a personality on his own. So right now, God has got to show people, you gotta let it run its course. See, God gotta let it show that, you know what? No, I gotta let you show that that's a man. That's a man. Yeah, we gonna get family. I feel like we can talk about this. See, when you start making a person your God, your everything, God have to show you that, you know what, that is not the case. They made him a savior, a God, made him look like he could never be invincible. So he never showed that he had a medical condition. He never showed his taxes. He never showed anything. But he ran. He did everything untraditional that a normal president would have done. And here's the funny part about it. He letting them do everything ordained. Because he have to show them that, you know what, that's not God. You don't worship something like that. You don't worship nobody like that. And I know it's some folks that are mad at Democrats. I'm saying Democrats. I'm not talking about MAGA. Because you're going to be mad at anybody regardless. You're going to blame somebody regardless. You're going to try to hold somebody regardless of your failed life, your uneducated life. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. But I'm going to tell you something. And I want you to take this as to heart. And that is that when God is working on something, he got to do what he got to do. If you notice, you're seeing his health deteriorate before our eyes. You're seeing the truth. See, God have to expose. That's what Cat Williams said. He said in 2024, God finna expose some stuff. He didn't say when he was gonna stop, but he said in 2024, he was gonna expose some stuff. And see, that's what we doing. We it's like we seeing people for the first time who they really are. We seeing folks who are we seeing our politicians who they really are. We seeing the fighters. And right now, we are making history. We are making history. I will hope I am part of that history. I really do. I hope that one day when they open up the books and they say, hey, who is this lady here? Did you know them hidden figures? I would love to be one of those. I would love it. Somebody 100 years from now, somebody talking about what I did, how I participated in the right for liberty and justice. But see, we so divided right now. I remember when elected officials used to bring us together. They used to say that, you know what, even if you didn't vote for me, I am still your president. But now we have a president that says, I hate Democrats. I really do. Wow. I guess because they didn't let him run. But let's get back to our healing. Let's get back to our healing. Because some of us are internal depressed, and then there's some of us that are external. That means we're talking about depression. I am one of them. It's not that I'm advertising for likes or whatever. I discuss it because it's a struggle. It's a struggle every day. It's a struggle on what I'm dealing with, my health condition. It's a struggle when I deal with my financial situation. It's a struggle when I deal with that big question mark of unknown. And people say, well, you know, what you pray, I'm going to pray. Yeah, but at some point, it's right now I hear, but I'm not listening. Because right now, I'm in this dark spot. And it's a lot of people that are in that dark spot and they don't know what to do. It's a lot of people that's becoming a victim of that. It's a lot of people that's gonna have to make a decision when it comes time to cut their health care, and if they have a disease or they have some kind of illness, and all of this. They're gonna get in that dark spot where they're gonna have to wonder, how am I gonna die? Am I gonna die on my own terms, or am I gonna die suffering and in pain and trying to get help? It's a lot of people that may not want to go, but gonna have to have that conversation with themselves. Ooh. You know, I wake up in the morning and it seemed like, even now, it seemed like I see things that's going on. It looks familiar, but in reality, I know it's not. I know that things have changed. I feel it. I may not see it all the way, but I feel it. And I'm gonna tell you something, family. We gonna have to put our differences aside. Okay, you may not like a party. I get it. I'm not too happy about them either. They have disappointed me, but I don't want my grandkids to grow up in an environment that we're getting ready to go into. I don't want to see nobody, even the MAGAs, I don't want to see nobody go through something we're about to go through. I don't want to see nobody go through that, even though I know it's going to happen. So we don't have that long. We got like less than 18 months. We're going to have to start. Come on, I'll help you. Ask me about a candidate. Let's do research together. Let's try to get out this depression mode. Let's try to get out this scary mode. Let's try to make sure that we have done all we can. You know, I'm getting ready to go get some stationery because, you know, I think we need to write our Supreme Court. You can write the Supreme Court. One constitutional, Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20024. And I want to tell them how our Supreme Court, regardless who was president, upheld the Constitution. Now it seems like they're upholding Trump because he appointed them in office. You know, I believe, you know what, sometimes and you know, in your life, you know, people say, well, you know, I was born with, my father left me and I was abandoned and I was an orphan and I went through a rough life. You know what, I'm a firm believer that, you know what, it doesn't matter how you get here. That doesn't define your purpose. Your purpose could be whatever it is. See, we got to stop holding on to what hurt us, what made us mad, what made us angry, what got us to this point here. And stop, you know what, this is America, and everything that is possible happened in America, our country. Our country. And it's not a time to hurt people. It's time to find out, how can we help it? How can we help? Look, you know what? It's easy for somebody to talk about deporting somebody when they don't know, but go. Every case is a case-by-case situation. Everybody ain't living a life of luxury on SNAP benefits. There are people who are really hurting. And it's sad that it took a few bad apples for people to say that people living off of government assistance, that everybody's living a lap of luxury, that you don't even want to help countries that are hurting. And this the sad part, is that what was supposed to help us, that they were clearing the way for America to help us, to help Americans, we still ain't received it. And it's people that are becoming despair. I don't wish depression on my worst enemy. It's a demon that lingers with you even in your sleep. It's something that brings to reality. It's something but we gotta realize that we're not the country that we used to be. Everybody looked up to America. Good, bad, whatever. Everybody looked up to America. I used to feel like we came at our best, at our worst time. 9/11, Oklahoma bombing. When people was in despair, when national disasters happened, we were at our best. We put our difference aside and we came together as a country. We showed love, regardless of what color, race, or creed, or what sexuality we are. I believe we can fix this. Now, I still had that hope. I still had that hope. And, and if you're afraid, it's okay for us. This platform, it's okay for you to talk about that. If you are angry at the party and you angry at something that happened, it's okay for us to talk about that. If you mad because because a lot of things that this country's seeing is that a lot of people are angry because why? They looking at themselves and they see that they didn't accomplish what they set out to be. That's the reality of what's going on now. Everybody else is thriving, and why can't I thrive? I can't thrive because and we need to adjust that. We need to embrace that. It's okay to say that you failed, that you didn't make it. We don't have to blame nobody. Let's talk about ourselves. That we failed ourselves. It's okay. I say it to myself. Some things I wanted to do when I was young and circumstances happened and went out of my control and I didn't do it. And for 2 years, I was mad because I didn't want to be in this situation. I didn't want to be in this situation. I thought I would be better by now with my mind, my education, and all of this. I thought I would be better than what I am now. But you know what? I'm finna get religious with you. Yeah, we're going to have church. But that was not the plan that God had for me. Because see, if I didn't go through some rough stuff in my life, if I didn't have them rough patches, them disappointments, them times when I couldn't see my way through, like now, when I couldn't see, it just seemed like I had to beg when I didn't want to beg. I had to borrow when I didn't want to borrow. I had to be humble and take things that I didn't want to take and have disappointment and setbacks and I watch everybody flourish while I didn't. You know what? You wouldn't be having the person you have now. You wouldn't have had it. But I had to go through something bad to become the person that I am now. A person that I can admit my faults. And a person that, if most of all, if I ain't honest with nobody on this earth, I am honest with myself. And because I'm honest with myself, I can be honest with you. May not be what you want to hear. May not like the outcome. Am I going to go, if this too shall pass? Yes, Lord, it shall pass. This is one of my hardest assignments that I have been given. And I promise you, when I tell you that Samantha have had some times when she ready to give up, it's been some days. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't have a lot of family that support me. I got sisters that I don't talk to, except for maybe one or two. But I got me and my daughter, she finna have a baby next month, and me and her argue. She a Capricorn. Ooh, we ain't gonna talk about that. I got a son, he's a Pisces, and he's more of a old man, and I worry about them. And then but you know what? One thing about it is that I started back taking yarn. I ain't gonna hold you long. I started back taking yarn classes. I started crocheting, and I made a hat. I make them Bob Marley hats, and I made it kind of funny, and I made it for the man, and he was so happy. He said, "I can't wait to wintertime. I'm gonna wear this," and it made me feel good. I have my good moments. But right now we are all going through a test. It's a test. It's a test of our will. It's a test of our faith. It's a test of who we are going to be the rest of our lives. And if we sit here and we start to be angry or upset and we continue to let that be, it's not only going to destroy our country, it's going to take you with it. You ain't got to like the politician to like his purpose. God don't let you like everybody that's getting ready to do some work in your behalf. Stop putting your emotional in it, because sometimes you miss your blessing because you know what? You got anger issues over what somebody doing. Especially, I don't understand it. You're letting somebody that's telling you they gonna hurt you. You're all right with that, but you start talking about somebody's background. Have you noticed when you're trying to do right, when you're trying to do something, you could have did something wrong 5 years ago, but when you're trying to do something right, somebody always want to come and tell about your past. But I'm going to tell you something about your past. I believe that now a lot of people got a purpose, and God finna bring it out. I hope I'm here to see it. I hope we make history in a way, in a phenomenal way. Because you know what? Evil ain't in us. It was a part of us, but for many of us, it's not in us. And we gonna have to shine hard behind this. Y'all, I gotta go to the doctor. Y'all have a nice day, okay? And remember, we together on this. We family.